From wars to diplomacy, America's foreign policy has been shaped by key events that altered the nation's place on the world stage. Today, we'll explore the top 5 moments that have had a lasting impact on how the United States interacts with the rest of the world. In 1823, President James Monroe introduced a bold policy that would influence U.S. foreign relations for decades, the Monroe Doctrine. This doctrine declared that any European interference in the Americas would be seen as an act of aggression, asserting the Western Hemisphere as the United States' sphere of influence. Though controversial at the time, the Monroe Doctrine became a cornerstone of American foreign policy, laying the groundwork for future U.S. interventions in Latin America and beyond. In 1898, the Spanish-American War marked the United States' emergence as a global imperial power. After the explosion of the USS Maine in Havana Harbor, the United States declared war on Spain, ultimately defeating the Spanish forces and acquiring territories like Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. This victory shifted America's foreign policy toward imperialism and signaled the country's growing role in global affairs, particularly in the Pacific and Latin America. World War I was a transformative event in shaping U.S. foreign policy, especially as the nation shifted from isolationism to active involvement on the world stage. Initially neutral, the United States entered the war in 1917 after German submarine attacks on American ships and the revelation of the Zimmermann telegram. Although the United States helped win the war, President Wilson's vision of a post-war world based on the League of Nations was rejected by Congress, reflecting America's reluctance to fully engage in international governance despite its growing power. Following World War II, the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union defined much of America's foreign policy for the second half of the 20th century. The fear of communism spreading worldwide led to the doctrine of containment, and the U.S. took part in numerous conflicts, such as the Korean War and the Vietnam War, to prevent Soviet influence. From nuclear arms races to proxy wars, the Cold War shaped U.S. foreign policy decisions for nearly 50 years, with the eventual collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 marking the end of this ideological struggle. The September 11th attacks in 2001 were a game-changer for U.S. foreign policy. The devastating terrorist attacks led to the U.S. launching the War on Terror, starting with the invasion of Afghanistan to dismantle the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. The aftermath of 9/11 also saw the U.S. invade Iraq in 2003, fundamentally altering U.S. foreign relations, particularly in the Middle East. These events reshaped America's security policies, diplomacy, and military strategy for decades. These 5 events, from the Monroe Doctrine to 9/11, have profoundly influenced the direction of U.S. foreign policy and its role in the global order. Understanding these moments helps us understand where America stands in the world today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more insightful content on U.S. history and foreign policy.